also like Jumpstart Kindergarten, Tonka Construction, American McGee's Alice, Fusion Fall, the Candyland games, Toonstruck. Dude, making a wish list is not gonna port all those classic games into consoles. I'm sorry, it's just that you've been coming up with these great ideas of making video game remakes and porting old classic games into newer consoles. Hey, that's not true. We still have some original games in the works. Name a recent pre-order hit. Final Fantasy VII. Darn it! It's okay, I understand. I'm sure you'll find a new game that will be the next Marvel Spider-Man 2 or Super Mario Bros. Wonder or something. Oh my goodness! I'm late for a very important date! Wait, you actually have a date? No, I'm supposed to do my computer games review for this year. See you later. Okay then. Now where was I? Okay, Charles, I took care of that Coyote vs. Acme movie by Terminated. Larry, you moron! We've been over this 20 times! It's time to play. Yes, the retro games are back with new game franchises or CD-ROM games based on existing properties. No matter which genre you choose, you're always in for a good game that's either action-packed, educational, or just like them for how whimsical they are. Same rules as before, no lower grades for any of them. These are just my personal opinions. And we're simply going to look over one game from each development company to see how well crafted they are. Strap yourselves in because we're going on another binge playing experience. Welcome to another episode of the Wonder Reviews. Well, there's no time to wait because we're going back to the land of the computer games! We're starting this episode off to talk about our favorite edutainment gaming company, Humongous Entertainment. Seeing how I already looked over one Putt-Putt, Spy Fox, and Pajama Sam game, it's Freddi Fish's turn on their first game of the series, The Case of the Missing Kelp Seeds. She visited her grandma Grouper's home to discover that her treasure is missing. It's not just any treasure, it's her kelp seed treasure. Without those seeds, she can't plant the kelp and feed all the fish in the sea. So Freddi and her best friend Luther had to find the treasure by finding these messages in a bottle to uncover the whereabouts of the kelp seeds. I will admit, even if this is Freddi's first game, they take the treasure hunt seriously because kelp is one of the common foods fish eats. The gameplay usually follows a certain pattern. When the two fish found the first bottle, the next bottle is in a different location, the other two bottles are somewhere else, but you have to solve a puzzle or pass an obstacle to get it, and the game wraps up in a small endgame area. Like all the other adventure games from Humongous, there are multiple playthroughs every time you play a new game of the missing kelp seeds. Like when you go looking for the third bottle, it could either be at the junkyard guarded by a dogfish, or a deep trench inhabited by a kid-friendly version of the anglerfish from Finding Nemo. There are other side quests that occur in the game, but they're not required on finishing the game, unless you need the one object from them as well as have them appear in the ending. Speaking of the ending, the only thing I find underwhelming is the side plot involving the two sharks. They were the ones who stole the treasure by orders of the Squid Father. And yes, it's supposed to be a reference to the Godfather.
But the Squid Father...
Was the Godfather ever popular with cartoons during its timeline? Were they planning to make a crossover with the Good Feathers? Anyways, after they caught up with Freddi and Luther, how did the two fish escape from them with the treasure? Well, they simply say, let's share the treasure together. Oh, okay. I was expecting a bit more than that, even at a young age. However, the first Freddi Fish is a fun scavenger hunt and puzzle-solving game to play. The underwater world is beautiful, there are some good mini-games like Mad with Mr. Starfish and the Pearl Fighting game, and many of the other fish characters are pretty likable. And we can't forget all the fun stuff you get to click around throughout the game. Dive in and enjoy life under the sea.
Yeah!
Can't we just ignore the problem and hope it will go away?
I think it's time to look over our sequel to another point-and-click game, Sam and Max. I already discussed my thoughts on their other game, Save the World. It was funny, had enjoyable characters, and some smart thinking skills. My main issue with it though is that the story got repetitive involving the hypnosis plotline. But then came Beyond Time and Space and it became one of the best games from the series. The sequel serves as the second season of the Sam and Max series due to the continuity from the events of Save the World. These include Max still being President of the United States, Sybil is staying at the head of the Abraham Lincoln statue, and they kept the gambling cheater Leonard in their closet as their personal treasure from their previous adventure. In the first chapter, it starts with a giant robot going on a rampage, and it was a present from Santa Claus. When Sam and Max head to the North Pole, it was the night that Santa went crazy like something must have snapped his brain. They believe he's been possessed by a demon that was delivered to his workshop, so they need to get rid of the monster before Christmas becomes chaotic. The next chapter involves the Bermuda Triangle, and Sam and Max has to stop a volcano eruption on Easter Island, plotted by the ghost of their dead fish, Mr. Spatula. Yeah, things get stranger in every chapter. The third episode involves zombies and a vampire prince. Episode 4 officially contains time traveling and UFOs. And in the final chapter, Sam and Max went to hell. So unlike last time, this is really unpredictable. But at the same time, all the episodes connect together in this entire game. There's a scene in the first chapter where Sam and Max gets help from the Christmas spirit, and one portal shows them in the future in which past Sam and Max involvements play an important factor in the final episode. Every move they make affects the entire timeline. Going back to the unpredictability, this game decides to throw everything wacky at you, but still continues the flow of the story. There are baby versions of historical figures, a rap boxing match, Sam and Max become zombies, Bosco turns into a cow for messing with the space-time continuum, and, oh yeah, this bit.
Agent Super Ball!
Yeah, the Sam and Max games were one of those games where it decides to do whatever it wants. Last season, the freelance police somehow managed to drive their car all the way to the moon. Nobody ever questioned this stuff.
You can't just drive to the moon, bonehead.
Our future selves have no respect for plausibility.
The closer you reach the halfway mark, the more surprises that are thrown out, even for the crazy ones, including Bosco running away from what he calls THEM, the situation involving Santa and the demon infestation, and there's actually a leader in hell that is more powerful than the Lord of Hell. There are still some puzzle-solving skills and fun road rage involving the car, and the humor continues to be funny. I couldn't believe the game created a cynical version of Tickle Me Elmo. If you like the first season of Sam Max, you will like Beyond Time and Space more. The humor is still funny, the characters both old and new are memorable, and the chapter present a lot more wackiness than their own predecessor. When there is trouble, the freelance police will be there to make it double.
Why are we standing like this, Sam?
Oh, I thought you knew.
This is one of Knowledge Avenger's early attempts to turn their future Jumpstart games into CGI. They made a short-lived series that featured characters from the previous games from grades 3rd through 6th, and they called themselves Jumpstart Spy Masters. In the game, there's a mysterious trickster called the Prankster that is causing mischief across the city, such as a robot invasion, pausing time, putting people to sleep with a hypnotic music, turning food green and Brussels sprout flavored, and having full access of the Spy Master's secret headquarters. So you have to solve some educational problems to undo the damage and apprehend the Prankster once and for all. The main difference between this game and the other 2D anime Jumpstart games is that it plays as a small open world where you get to fight some robots but visit the place to do some of the mini-games either on your free time or for an important mission. But although the robots are part of the story, there's no minimal requirement on defeating them, even if you had to upgrade to the next level on getting a new weapon or equipment. I couldn't even figure out how many experience points I'm supposed to get on defeating these robots if I wanted to level up to get some new stuff. The best thing that ever come out of Spy Masters are the mini-games and visuals of the world they live in. Some of the games feature spelling, math, history, geography, and grammar. They are fun to play and actually advance the story. But I find it very unoriginal that some of the games repeat the same gameplay as the others. Like in the Clock Tower, you had to catch the letter to spell the word told by Bodley. And in the recording studio, it's the same rules as the Clock Tower one. Some games share the same rules as the Globe or the Robot Factory, but at least they use different topics like sports or history.
Calamity Jane.
While I do like the 2D games like Jumpstart Mystery Mountain better, I think Spy Master was a nice game to play and see the Jumpstart kids team up in one big adventure. It may not be as popular as the main Jumpstart games, but it's a nice 3D game that shows education can be a lot of fun.
Ooh.
Elmo is one of the most popular characters on Sesame Street, next to Big Bird and Bert and Ernie. He had his own spin-off, Elmo's World, a movie where he goes to Grouchland, and starred in multiple CD-ROMs, including his preschool game. The game features 5 locations, 2 mini-games for each of them. They are basically matching and pair games like finding the letter, shape, body part, number, and figuring out the music sound and pattern. There's really not that much to say about the games you play, but to his credit, there are some fun clicks during your free time like feeding Elmo some sweets, dancing with his teddy bear, and click on some things outside and you might get a chain reaction. I I think the best part about playing with these rooms is basically fitting around with some of the things you can play. The minigames do get a tiny bit harder for the kids, but there is still some educational stuff to be found when playing with the letter tubes. The body parts give out a lot of expression, and there are some nice animation and references to the show.
Oh.
Oscar.
It's a cute little Sesame Street game where kids can have fun with a cute little Sesame Street character. It's full of sunny days that always sweep the clouds away.
Again. Come again.
This interactive storybook is far different from the other interactive storybooks that Living Books has ever adapted. This is the story of a baby fruit bat named Stella Luna. She lost her mother after getting attacked by an owl and fell into a bird's nest. She befriends the baby birds, but the mother bird demands if she's going to live here and be part of the family, she will have to live like the birds. But when she's reunited with her mother and meets the other bats, she learns what she really is and still remains friends with the birds. This interactive book is more serious than the other storybooks Living Books adapted into gaming. There are some fun clicks here and there, but nothing about it is deemed comically funny. The visuals are incredible. It feels like you're watching a nature documentary cartoon with some amazing designs of the animals and lighting during the day and nighttime. The message is also heartwarming. It talks about even though Stella Luna is different from her bird friends, they accept her for who she is. Stella Luna was happy that they can still be friends even after she learned that she's a bat, while the trio are fascinated of the things a bat can do. It shows even though bats and birds are different, they still have some things in common in a unique way.
I don't understand it. We're so different and so much alike.
There are some new additions that are worth enjoying, like the side plot of Stella Luna's mom finding her baby, a butterfly that grows a small friendship with the little fruit bat, and there are some catchy and even sweet musical numbers.
I'm upside down, my feet are pointing to the sky and my head is hanging down.
I'm surprised that this book wasn't adapted to an anime musical special. That already happened? The game does feature a bat quiz where you have to answer some questions about anything bat related. Not a bad minigame, and there are some interesting facts that are worth learning about these flying mammals. The best way I can describe the interactive book as a whole is that it's very heartening. Great visuals, nice story, lovely songs, and even some cool facts about bats. Stella Luna is a fascinating tale told by Living Books Interactive.
And differences don't have to get in the way.
Well, what do we have here? Another interactive storybook? I remember when I played some computer games, Living Books was not the only one to make storybook adaptations. Disney Interactive decided to adapt their classic anime films into animated storybooks, one of them being the highest grossing anime film from the 90s, The Lion King. As expected, it's a page-by-page retelling of Mufasa having a son named Simba who will become king. But Mufasa's brother Scar is jealous because he wanted to become a king instead of his own brother and nephew, so he plots to kill his brother and get rid of his nephew. Simba runs away and becomes friends with Timon and Pumbaa, but as he grows older and learns that Scar is hurting the Pride Lands, he decides to stop running away from his past and decides to fight his uncle to be the rightful king. As an interactive storybook that's an adaptation to a classic Disney movie, it's pretty good for what it is. The game does capture the feel of the original, like the animals or some of the iconic scenes like Pride Rock, the Elephant Graveyard, and the oasis that Timon and Pumbaa resides. They even put in some background music to the famous Lion King songs like Hakuna Matata, Be Prepared, Can You Feel the Love Tonight, and more. But it is noticeable that they use archived dialogue from the actual movie instead of redubbing.
This stinks. Oh, sorry. Not you. Them.
There are only 3 minigames to this animated storybook, but most of them aren't that interesting. One game where you just click on the grub for Timon to pick up, and another one where you have to connect the stars like Connect the Dots. The closest game that seems on point is the pouncing game because it's one of the most memorable scenes from the movie. For everything else in the gameplay, there are some good things to like about it. When you click on Rafiki followed by a highlighted word, he explains the definition of that word.
Prince. The son of a king is called a prince.
There are some nice animation on the free time clicks. There's actually one page where you restore the Pride Lands after Simba defeats Scar. And there are some playful things happening on some of the other pages. Seeing how The Lion King is one of Disney's most famous anime movies, this interactive storybook still captures the joy and charm of one of the biggest films during the Renaissance. It's colorful, it's bouncy, it's one of those stories that move us all for all ages. Welcome to the Circle of Life. good mystery, but this particular game seems to catch everyone's interest. The 7 Guests is a puzzle-solving game where you enter what seems to be an abandoned haunted house featuring visions from the past. The guests who arrived at the mansion came to participate in a mystery game so they can win a prize, but it turns out it was just a trap under the control of the mansion's owner, Henry Stoff. It appears he's trying to capture the soul of a kid and he wants his 6 other guests to bring the boy to him if they want to win a prize. When playing the game, it already has an eerie feeling like you're playing a video game version of the Haunted Mansion at Disney World. The puzzles are very challenging. They can range from swapping bishop chess pieces to the other side, solving word puzzles, clearing cake slices, navigating through mazes, fixing the portrait of Henry, and lots more. The more you solve the puzzles, the more you continue the story and unlock new areas of the mansion. This of course reveals some development towards Henry and the 7 Guests. The guests who participate in this mystery game came here to win a special prize Henry promised for everyone, whether it be money, becoming young and beautiful again, or learning the secrets of his personal magic. As for the owner, there seems to be something very secretive towards his past. Henry started off as a homeless man, but then suddenly he becomes a successful toy maker. But the toys he delivers seem to be in contact with an unknown virus, which ended up making the children sick. No one exactly knows how it really happened and why Henry would do such a thing. It was almost like he came in contact with some dark forces and made a deal with them. And yes, there are times whenever you play the game, it can get a little freaky. Well, seeing how you're in an abandoned haunted mansion, you should bump into some wandering spirits or other unusual haunts lurking through the walls.
Feeling lonely.
And here I thought killer brides and stretching rooms were the scariest things in haunted mansions. Thank you for proving me wrong. And funny enough, the 7 Guests did leave a massive legacy for computer games. There are sequels, it popularized CD-ROMs, won multiple awards, it even got a virtual reality remake. It's an effective game, but often very hard to solve the puzzles of this mysterious house. They say 7 is a lucky number, and with the 7 Guests, it's lucky enough for its eeriness and massive impact it left behind.
Crazy, sick, and me!
So, I never got into these Tycoon games, and years ago, I decided to purchase Ride, Carnival Tycoon, because I like carnivals and amusement parks. And I think I might have picked the wrong one to play. So this game is actually a simulation game where you get to customize your own carnival, and being the owner of the fair, you have to make sure your customers are happy and have a good time. Now that seems okay, putting in some rides, carnival game, and even hiring your staff to keep things operational. But there's one problem with it though. It's so boring, and the gameplay is what to blame for its lack of fun. With the carnival games, you can't actually play with them, you just place them there to increase your customers' attendance and profitability. Next, some of the sandboxes you had chosen to build your fair are too small for all the things you need to keep the park going, like bigger rides and food stands. As for the rides you received, they lack fun as well because they are too slow, even for some of the kiddie rides. What's worse is that some of the things you want to place can't be unlocked because you need to reach the next ownership level. Okay, leveling up, I understand the minimal requirement, but here's the thing. I play this game on easy mode and it says I need to make at least $20,000 to market my carnival. However, I started off getting $10,000 and spent some of the money to get the things I already unlocked to keep the park alive. I couldn't even get $15,000 during the run because the running time was too long and boring to complete. And no, I'm not going to increase the admission prices. There's already enough inflation on this planet. The main reason why Roller Coaster Tycoon became one of the most famous Tycoon games is that you have created liberty to make your own roller coaster however you like. Go big, dream big. Here though, I feel like I'm falling asleep to my own carnival I just built. It was so lame, I stopped playing this and never leveled up to unlock any other lock rides and other stuff. The only way this game could have worked better if it actually had a main objective in completing the game. That way, you won't have to feel lost about what you need to do. It's boring, it's forgettable, and it makes the Thrillville games look exactly like the Roller Coaster Tycoon games. I have nothing else to say about this carnival game. Next game, please. Okay, this will do. Yep, Garfield even had computer games back then, and this one seems very interesting. One day, John is trying to catch a mouse because Garfield refused to do so, but his owner has had enough of Garfield being lazy and wants him to act like other cats. Garfield calls on his friend Odie and decides to retaliate against John by creating the world's most perfect cat inside his laboratory. Yeah, he has a laboratory now in John's house, unless it's the basement where he hides Odie's real owner. In the game, the computer gives you a list of cat features like claws, swimming, speed, and more. You get to decide which cat should Odie get the feature from. When he returns, he gives Garfield some food from its originating country, and the computer displays a documentary of the cat you have selected. After that, you get to decide to play some mini-games or move on to the next selection of features. The activities you do play are mostly pretty fun, and at times they can be challenging the more you play and advance to the next level. There's a whack-inspired game where you had to protect Garfield's pizza from the bugs. There's one you had to burp a mouse into the air and hit some bars. Another one to hairbolt some evil nurbles. There are some launching games on dunking Beaking the Clown and throwing chickens in the air, as well as some customizable games like Mix and Match the Garfield characters and Dress Up John. You heard me, there's actually a minigame where you had to dress up John Arbuckle in any way you like.
Looks like somebody had too much fun with him from the Thanksgiving special.
For an activity game, the people who made the game really did everything they can to make it fun to play over and over again. They know if they're going to make a Garfield game where he plays Dr. Frankenstein, they had to put in some Garfield references and lore from the comics and cartoons to keep everything in focus. Like there's a matching game where you had to follow the pattern to John's disco dance, and disco was a thing that John got into in the comics and cartoons. And in the Nurmal game, you had to keep the kisses away from Garfield because he can't stand Nurmal's cuteness. Another portion that is worth replaying is the ending. After you collect all the features, Garfield and Odie will reveal their latest creation as their perfect cat. But it turns out to be a Garfield character, and no matter what, Garfield won't approve of it. Now when it comes to figuring out which character you created, it would depend on how good or perfect the feature you asked Odie to deliver. So the ending will vary based on the choices you made. But I do wonder what other characters could have been made if this game was made today. Better than going live action again. It may not be one of the funniest Garfield video games, but there's a pleasant charm when it comes to playing this game. It has some nice games, and even the facts about cats are interesting to learn about. Who says Saturday morning cartoons can't be educational? Okay, I've been hearing a lot about this game lately on how influential it became towards the entertainment industry. And when I finally got a chance to play it, yeah, I can agree with everyone that this thing is so cool. You come across a mysterious book and get transported into the world of mist. The only thing you can do about it is just explore the island. However, there are a series of puzzles that you need to solve in order to explore more of the world and uncover its secrets. It appears it used to be inhabited by two brothers, their father Artris, and his wife Catherine. But the brothers are trapped in these red and blue books, and the only way to get them out is collecting the color pages that are scattered in the Mist Realm. For a game that was made back in 1993, this is a really complex story with some stunning visuals. The designs of these backgrounds are unbelievably astounding. I played the remastered version of Real Mist, and it still captures the wonder of why the 1993 version became a hidden gem into the realm of PC. There's also the use of live-acting people, and they somehow blend right into the 3D world.
Finally returned. I owe you a debt of gratitude, for you have nearly released me.
But I had to warn you though, some of the puzzles are pretty hard to solve. Sometimes whenever you find a clue, you have to remember that clue and run back to the place you're trying to solve, otherwise you have to run back towards the clue again. Some hints can be found in the library, and others are written under a sign or piece of letter. What's even more fascinating is that the game features multiple endings. Many of them are bad, but one is considered good. When I first played the game and found Artris inside the book, I thought I had to jump into the book and meet him in person. But it turns out I wasn't supposed to go into his book yet, and so my character becomes a prisoner like him. But when I went back to my previous save before the book jump, I decided to listen to him on what I'm supposed to do. This game has left such an impact, it's been called one of the best video games of all time with multiple sequels, remakes, and helped the adoption of CD-ROM drives. As well as inspire others with their own craftsmanship, like Owen Dennis creating Infinity Train. Missed helped Owen Dennis create Infinity Train. So yeah, now I understand why this game is so popular and influential, and here's hoping it will continue its reputation for others in the future. Well, that's about it for the computer games review for this year. Thank you so much for joining me on another journey through the CD-ROM games. I'm sure most of these games I talk about left wonderful childhood memories and continue to be beloved for many years. There are still lots more computer games that I have yet to discuss, but for now, it's time to relax and get some rest.
I'm Mad Hatter Patrick. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go outside and get some fresh air. Huh? Stop! Don't go out there!
What's going on?
I come from the future. When you go out there, you'll bump into Larry's Carnival where all the rides are broken, the food tastes like cardboard, and the robot servants are completely out of control and terrorizing everybody. Okay then I will not go to Larry's Carnival. Thanks, future me. No, wait, there's also a Bermuda Triangle floating in the neighborhood. Huh? I'm hoping it's sending me to the Bahamas!
Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, check out these other videos, or feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more upcoming reviews and other projects. I'll see you soon.